Behind the Shades.
My name is Terry Tucker. I grew up on the south side of Chicago. I am the oldest of three boys. You cannot tell this from looking at me or from my voice, but I'm 6'8" tall and actually went to college on a basketball scholarship. When I graduated from college, I'm really going to date myself now, but this was long before the internet was available to help people find employment. So I moved home to find a job. And I found that first job in the corporate headquarters of Wendy's International, the hamburger chain, in their marketing department. That was the good news. The bad news was that I lived with my parents for the next 3.5 years as I helped my mother care for my father and my grandmother, who were both dying of different forms of cancer. Professionally, as I said, started out at Wendy's, switched to hospital administration, made a major pivot in my life after that and became a police officer. Part of what I did in my law enforcement career was I was a SWAT team hostage negotiator. After that, I started a school security consulting business, coached girls high school basketball. But for the last 11.5 years now, I've been battling a rare form of cancer, a rare form of melanoma. And then I guess just finally, my wife and I have been married for 30 years. We have one child, a daughter, who's a graduate of the United States Air Force Academy and is an officer in the new branch of the military here in the United States, the Space Force. So you can find me at my blog. It's called Motivational Check. So motivationalcheck.com will get you to me.
Perfect. First and foremost, congratulations on your marriage. That is a fantastic accomplishment. And I say that because I truly believe it is, not because there's so much chaos and divorce in the world, but because it's always good to hear that side, because I think we live in a time where you always hear the bad, right? You hear the divorce, you hear the separation, you hear people fighting over children and things like that. So take us through, if you don't mind, a little bit of your marriage. How did you two meet and how did it end up lasting as long as it has from your perspective?
Faith, prayer. I mean, it's certainly not been perfect. I mean, my wife has been caring for me for 11.5 years with cancer. And, when you sign up, you get married, you take the vows, in sickness and in health till death do us part. But I can't tell you the number of times that I have asked her to just put me in a home, put me somewhere where you can get on with your life, because this has not been a fun experience, as you can imagine. We met in Columbus, Ohio. I was working for a hospital. She was working for a bank. And we went to a leadership program sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce. We were in a project team group. This project team, our group, we liked each other. So we would do things outside of this Chamber of Commerce event. We'd go to lunch together and we'd get together on the weekends. We were both dating pretty seriously other people, but somehow we managed to get together. And, I'd known her for about a year with this program. We dated for about 6 months, decided we wanted to get married. We were older. We were 33 years old when we got married. So we had a little bit of life experience behind us. We were a little bit more established. Our daughter came along 3 years later. And, it's just been, we've lived a lot of places in the United States. We've moved a lot. And I think that's been good. I mean, it's one, it causes us to declutter. We get rid of stuff. Yeah, we don't need that anymore. Get that out of here. But it also, it gives us a chance to start over, new experiences, figuring things out. And I think we've just supported each other is why it's worked. When my wife met me, I was a 8 to 5 Monday through Friday hospital administrator. And a couple of years into our marriage, I said, look, I want to be a police officer. And I mean, that's a tremendous shift in, you want to work nights and holidays and all that kind of stuff. And she supported me in that. Conversely, when she lost her job and I was still in law enforcement, I had to get out of law enforcement because she was the primary breadwinner. And okay, we're gonna move to Houston, Texas now, and I'm gonna find something else to do. So it was a lot of supporting each other, loving each other, caring each other. And in all honesty, I think that started with my parents and how they treated my brothers and I growing up.
For some of the couples that I speak with, anytime there's an illness, I always find it difficult because they look at themselves and they say, and I don't know if you've had this thought. I don't want to be a burden on someone that I love so much with my heart. And I thought of that once you mentioned that you went to her and you said, "Hey, just put me in a home because I don't want you to put you through that stress." And I think sometimes what we may forget is that we're looking at it through our lens, saying that this is stressful for my partner. But the flip side is, how much more stressful would it be without you? Have you thought about that as well? If you were to, if she, when you came to her and you said that, and she's decided yes, but now she's living without you. She's living without the man that she loves, without the man that she created this beautiful daughter with. Have you thought about that? If that were to happen?
I mean, in a way, I have. I mean, my wife is Norwegian by heritage, and so she's very stoic, and that, and it's she's tough, and I think that's the reason she stayed with me. I think lesser people. I mean, I've had an 11 and a half year battle with cancer, and there's never been a time where I haven't been battling it. There hasn't been like a 5 year window or a 2 year window where I didn't have cancer. It was always something, including most recently, the amputation of my leg during the middle of COVID. I mean, she dropped me off at the hospital the morning I had my amputation, was not allowed to be with me. I remember her saying, "What should I do?" I said, "Just go sit in the parking lot and pray and wait for my doctor to call you when it's over." I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I felt worse about that than I did about having my leg amputated. And it was just, we've just figured it out as we've come along, as we've gone along. How are we going to do this? How are we going to operate now? Now I don't have a leg. I'm in a wheelchair. How do we live our lives now? And, life is not supposed to be miserable. 11 and a half years. We've never had a vacation during that 11 and a half years. It's always been a struggle with this disease. Yes, I've thought about the other side. Would her life be better without me? I think it would be. I really do. It's like you could get out and you could live your life, because her life is taking care of me and working and running the house and doing. I mean, she does everything for me, and I would certainly be in a home if something happened to her. I mean, my daughter might take me in. Not that she would take me in, but yeah, I mean, she's younger, she's married, she's in the military. It'd be harder for her to do that. So I get it. I mean, we deal with this stuff every day. We deal with going to treatment, and well, you got to take me to treatment. Okay, we'll get up at 4 o'clock in the morning so we can go to treatment every 3 weeks. It is what it is. We do it because it's working, and I'm staying alive. So
I had a family member that they had cancer, and they caught it very early on. They're able to overcome it and go from there. And it's changed their life. Like, things that mattered don't matter anymore. And they began to realize that there's so much more to life than the things that you can buy. They began to appreciate the time with their family, with their loved ones. And although they may not have been the nicest of people, or maybe the most forthcoming and things like that, it totally changed them because their perspective and their perception of life changed. What are some of the changes that you've experienced recently in your life?
You make a great point. I mean, people a lot of times ask me, you were a college athlete, you were a police officer, you were on the SWAT team, you did all these physical things, and now you don't have a leg and you're in a wheelchair. How do you balance that? How do you come to grips with that? And my response is always, when you can't do the things that you're good at, you do the things that are important. And I think that's kind of what you just said. You realize what's important. And being a basketball player was fun, but what was it really important? Not really. Being a police officer, yes, maybe I was impacting more people, sure. But was it really important? What's important is our family and our faith and the friends that we have. I talk about my 3 F's: faith, family, and friends. I mean, all kinds of things we've had to figure out. I had my leg amputated. I'm supposed to be in the hospital for 10 days to 2 weeks to learn how to function without having a leg. they sent me home after 48 hours because of COVID. It's like, go home, figure it out. And we did. We had to figure it out. We had to figure, well, that rug won't work there because I'll trip, I'll fall, with a walker and things like that. So you just figure your life out in a way that you never expected to. I never expected to be disabled and to be in a wheelchair. I was the big, strong, tough guy. And now I'm the weak and not so tough guy anymore. I'm relying on people to cook for me, to clean for me, to do the laundry, to go to the grocery store. And that's a hard thing for me to do. So I have to have a purpose. I have to have something that I feel I'm contributing to life. And being on podcasts and writing books and articles and things like that have become my focus. It's something that I'm decent at, and it's something that I can do with the disease when I'm not in treatment and things like that.